Hey, and welcome to another Geek Out commentary where we're continuing our countdown to the Avengers Age of Ultron by watching all of the previous Marvel Cinematic Universe films. If you've been following, then you know that we're up to Thor, 2011's Thor.
Well, it hurts. That's my favorite joke from Aladdin. I'm Thor. You're Thor? Well, it hurts. Sorry.
The interesting fun fact about this movie, did you know that it was actually Sam Raimi that originally approached 20th Century Fox to make a version of this film right after doing Darkman?
Sam Raimi was trying to make a superhero movie for a long time. They wouldn't let him do it, which led to him making Darkman. And then, of course, we all know the rest is history because, in my opinion, he's still directed...
still the best Spider-Man director.
The best Spider-Man movie, and I still say the best comic book movie, which is Spider-Man 2. But we'll get there.
Yeah.
Another day.
Someday.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Someday, guys. Someday. Until maybe one day Marvel will get the rights to Spider-Man back.
Yeah, I honestly think they're going to.
I mean, there have been rumors going around that Sony's gonna try to work out a deal so that Spider-Man can be part of the Avengers
MCU, yeah.
And hopefully soon enough where like it could still be Andrew Garfield because he's great.
Yeah, I think he's great,
phenomenal. But yeah, so
Thor.
Yeah, this was this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe Thor, finally made by Ken Branagh. Originally it was supposed to be directed by Matthew Vaughn, who decided to do X-Men First Class instead. If you guys remember, way back when that actually came out the same year as Thor, 2011. But yeah, Ken Branagh, because of, famous for directing the 90s adaptation of Hamlet, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. He was Gilderoy Lockhart in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
He was Dr. Arliss Lovelace in one of the greatest movies ever made, Wild West.
Yeah.
Thank you for agreeing with me, Sam.
Boom!
Got him!
Yeah, he likes to whatever help him sleep. The the pedigree of his directorial work is what attracted Natalie Portman, Stellan Skarsgård, and Idris Elba to be in this film. So yeah, thank you, Ken Branagh.
He's good.
Although
outside of Wild Wild West, he's great.
Obviously, you haven't seen one of his original directing gigs, then, because as you were saying this, I remembered seeing this little movie from 1991, which was one of his first directing gigs. According to IMDb, I'm looking at IMDb right now because I forgot the title of it. Apparently, Henry V was the first thing that he's credited as directing, but he directed this little terrible movie called Dead Again, with who else was in that? Emma Thompson,
who used to be his wife.
Yeah, I think this is how they met,
right?
Or what ruined their marriage. But he directed and starred in it, and it was awful.
You mentioned he directed an adaptation of Henry V.
Yes.
Tom Hiddleston, for a while on London's West End, which is their equivalent of Broadway, if you're not familiar, actually starred in a staging of Henry V about 2-3 years ago. Shortly after the Avengers was released. But yeah, go ahead and
interesting. Sorry, I'm looking at this. Apparently, that's right. We mentioned this when we were watching Iron Man 2. He directed the post-credit scene. Never mind then.
He did indeed.
I for some reason I thought I read Iron Man just like the first Iron Man, not Iron Man 2, and I was like, oh, he directed that too.
Yeah.
No, but he did not.
He did not. That was all Jon Favreau. But yeah, go ahead and let's go ahead and cue up the movie that put Chris Hemsworth on the map. Chris, cue us up.
Yeah, so we are watching it on the Blu-ray. As usual so far with what we've had, there's nothing special about it, so any media that you're watching it on should be fine. So as usual, we have it queued up to the beginning of the actual movie starting, so make sure that you have the counter knocked down to all zeros, and then I'm going to give us a countdown and tell you to hit play. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
This is the one I had lowest expectations for going into.
I think all of us were kind of wondering how a Thor movie would look.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I wasn't feeling it too hard either. I mean, I really didn't know anything about Thor outside of Adventures in Babysitting.
Was he in Adventures in Babysitting?
I don't know.
You guys never saw Adventures in Babysitting?
It's been like years.
So the youngest daughter in that family was like obsessed with Thor, and she had the helmet and Mjolnir, and the guy in the garage that had their car looked kind of like he could have been Thor. So like she was like, you need your helmet and your hammer. You've forgotten who you are. And basically what I'm saying is I didn't know anything about Thor.
Puente Antigua, by the way, they just kind of had that. That's the fictional location they're taking place in New Mexico. Is Spanish for Old Bridge. Yeah. Nice little nod because they use the Bifrost Bridge to teleport.
Oh.
Also, in the comics, Natalie Portman's character, Jane Foster, is a nurse, but to kind of help tie her closer to Thor's origin, they make her a astrophysicist in this, which, is fine.
I'm okay with that. And Kat Dennings is like the love of my life. So I'm very excited that we're watching a movie that has her in it quite a bit.
I'm all about Stellan Skarsgård myself.
Well,
He's
Chris
the love of your
Hemsworth
life.
myself.
Yeah.
Give me Chris Evans any day. Next week.
Have you guys seen the trailer for The Heart of the Sea, the Chris Hemsworth, Ron Howard movie?
Where he loses a shit ton of weight.
It looks
No.
astounding. They played it before Fury.
Yeah. A lot of the like space images, like when they're teleporting things through space, were really largely inspired by stuff that they were seeing, like images captured by the Hubble Space Telescope.
Yeah. I remember they were all like kind of familiar like that.
She's coming off of Black Swan, right?
Yeah, she had just won the Academy Award. And she heard that, she wanted to come off that with the more commercial film. She heard Kenneth Branagh was directing a superhero movie, and she's like, that's so weird. I want to be a part of that.
There you go.
Skarsgård was approached personally by Branagh. Like, he called him up on his phone and was like, I need you to be in this movie.
Yeah, I totally jumped at that part in the theater, by the way, like a little wiener. I was like, whoa. Enter Thor. Sam and our birthday buddy. August 11th.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth, another August 11th birthday.
Well, when we watch Spice World, I can be like, oh, hey, look at that. Posh Spice. April 17th birthday, representing.
You can get that out now because we're never watching that movie.
I have a birthday pick coming up.
Well, we already know what your birthday pick is for this year.
Do we?
Unless you don't
I
want to
still
watch.
have several months.
Unless you don't want to watch those movies. Tunsberg, I feel like we might see that in a future
Remember
Marvel
if I-
Cinematic Universe movie.
Remember it like it was yesterday.
It's in Captain America.
Anthony Hopkins.
I feel like listening to Manowar now. Because this is what, but Manowar is all about Norse mythology.
Anthony
Except
Hopkins.
for that one album where they were Satanists.
Anthony Hopkins is famous for reading his lines and reciting them up to 200, 250 times so that when he says them, they sound so natural. Because if you listen to Anthony Hopkins, it's just natural.
Mm-hmm.
And the big thing that led me into seeing Thor, I mean, it's a Marvel movie, so of course I'm going to see it. But the big selling point for me was that Anthony Hopkins is in it. I think he's one of the all-timers.
Very Lord of the Rings inspired.
Yeah.
Can't help but do that after the success of that movie.
That's Colm Feore as the Laufey leader of the Frost Giants. He shows up in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, actually. Specifically the second one. Gets blown through the chest by Electro.
So were the Frost Giants using the same Tesseract that Red Skull steals? Or is that too in depth?
I think it was an Asgardian grave they take it from. Because they were using, what you saw them earlier, it's what Anthony Hopkins just picked up, the Casket of Eternal Winners, which is in the comics as well.
Okay. I saw blue square, so.
Yeah.
I was, at this point in the Marvel movies, I knew that they were all going to be coming together to do the Avengers, but I didn't think that there would be any kind of interconnectivity. So I didn't even know that they were at the same place in Norway and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's.
I like the more subtle Easter eggs, not the ones that beat you over the head.
Yeah. That's one thing that I do give credit to the people that complained about Gotham, how
overt the Easter eggs were.
Yeah, like Edward Nygma holding up a mug with a question mark on it.
It almost felt like a slap in the face.
Might as well have a fucking name tag.
Yeah, hey, the Riddler.
I will say I do like the design of Thor or of Asgard more in the sequel. It feels more lived in, whereas this just feels like a giant gold pipe organ in space.
Eye patches are cool.
Oddly enough, that was one of the first porns I was in. Giant pipe organ in space.
That sounds like a thrilling time.
You would have loved it.
Yeah.
A little while ago, I actually started listening to a book on tape of a whole bunch of Norse mythology, and it was really cool how the stories that they told were basically set up because I'm from a Judeo-Christian upbringing.
Sure.
The stories are very different. This was all about a whole bunch of gods interacting, doing stuff, and playing tricks on each other and things like that. Whereas
you get that with the Greco-Roman stuff too.
Yeah, Judeo-Christian is just, oh, you fucked up and now you're being smote.
Yeah, very cause and effect there.
Yeah, and I really and all the stories, unlike Greco-Roman, all the stories were interconnected. It was one long storyline, but it was but here's today's episode, So that was really cool.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot. And there was continuity between the two of them. Something that Loki, some trick that Loki would play on a frost giant, in one story would come back to haunt him 3 stories later. And
true.
So I liked it.
Frost giants never forget.
No.
We all know that.
There was also wind giants and swamp giants or something like that.
There it is. Sorry. 6 to midnight.
It wasn't just frost giants. They were just they were giants, and then there were different races of them. So that's who I thought the guy in the middle there, the of the Warriors 3. I always for the first half of this movie, I thought that was Kenneth Branagh, and I was he looks really young.
Played by Joshua Dallas, who's on Once Upon a Time. He doesn't come back for the sequel. They recast him with Zachary Levi because he was too busy with Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, too busy being Prince Charming or something.
Did you know that Tom Hiddleston originally auditioned to play Thor, and online you can find the audition, the screen test of him as Thor, wearing a fake-ass blonde wig.
Really?
But Ken Branagh, was impressed by his audition so much, but he's you know what? You'd be better off as Loki. And so he, certainly cast him in that role. Obviously, he's gone on to great acclaim with that.
Yeah.
And he cited Peter O'Toole in The Lion and the Winter and Lawrence of Arabia for kind of having that arrogance fueled by pain. That's where he his inspiration for Loki.
Yeah. I wish Thor wore that helmet more in this movie.
Yeah. For the earlier you saw him throwing around the hammer. They had 3 different hammers. They had a full on weight hammer.
For him swinging it around when he's hitting people so that there's some weight to it.
There's a combat hammer for that. Mm-hmm. So there is a combat hammer.
And it has some weight to it.
Yeah, a little more, kind of resistance. A weight hammer for the really...
Oh, for when it was supposed to be down on the ground.
Yeah, the heavy shots.
Yeah.
And then a light hammer so he could do...
Made of foam.
Yeah, so he could toss it around without fear of knocking himself out.
Much like in the scene that they released for Age of Ultron that they attached to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where all the guys are walking around trying to pick it up.
Yeah, at the party.
And it wiggles when Captain America grabs it.
Yeah.
And you can see Thor go, huh?
I honestly think he's going to lift it in the film's climax after he loses the shield.
I don't know. That line that Black Widow had about, I don't need that question answered. And like there's like fan theories abound of like people being like, I'm sure it just stems from people pissed off that Black Widow hasn't had a solo movie yet. Yeah. Alternate universe reality where Black Widow picks up the Thor's hammer.
Gort from Day There Stood Still.
Yeah. Klaatu Barada Nikto.
Exactly. All you gotta do.
I don't know if you were looking. There was quite a few Marvel artifacts in this armory.
Also known as Easter eggs.
In fact.
I saw them. I don't know what half of them are, but I saw them.
Yeah.
And by half, I mean like all but.
You can find them online. There's too many to list incomprehensively. And they're only there for like a frame or so.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did a really good job of having Thor's outfit on screen and not making it look really silly.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was worried about. One thing that I'm always worried about with superhero movies is just the costume looking ridiculous.
Well, I'm always fascinated by how they can do it, and for the most part, they've done really well with all the outfits, you know?
Yeah, especially the Marvel Universe ones. Like, mm-hmm. I love the fact that like Hawkeye isn't running around in that.
There's a part of me that
jumpsuit.
wishes he would, because like he's just
or at least
so
throw
bland.
some purple in.
He's so bland.
But
looks like a guy.
But the suit in general, like in comics, like his suit, regardless of what color it is, like it just I think it's over the top, especially with the hood.
Oh, it's all about the hood.
Cowl. For some reason I don't like cowls except for Batman. Batman's like the only character, at least in movie, like outside of the comic book, he's the only person that I can respect in a cowl. Like Captain America, I like him without the cowl. Thor, I prefer him without his helmet, unlike you, apparently.
I think his helmet looks cool.
It looks cool, but like I think it also kind of like I don't know. I don't think it would work in like the combat scenes. Another thing, speaking of costumes, I like how they kind of have like his cape retract like it is now.
Yeah, I feel like they had multiple capes too.
I'm sure they did the digital thing too with they did like a Man Steel.
Like Spawn's cape.
Yeah.
You know, Volstagg, the Fat Warrior 3, of course, was the Punisher in the Punisher Warzone, which isn't part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he shows up in Rome. But yeah, he was the Punisher for a hot second. Hot second meaning like an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm. About as long as Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah. Or Thomas Jane. He's wearing a fat suit. He's not actually that big.
No.
Though Chris Hemsworth put on 20 pounds of muscle for the role.
Good.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie came out, and then Man of Steel, they're like, we're going to one-up it with the shirtless scene, and then like Thor, the Dark World came out, and they're like, we're going to one-up it again. Like, it's just...
Fuck you.
Yeah.
It was like Evil Dead and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Except with biceps.
Which, as we can all agree, is the better way.
Yeah. I think Chris Hemsworth is he's got that X factor. He's really good. If you haven't seen the movie he's in called Rush, check it out. I think it's his best performance.
It's phenomenal, yeah. Of course, the person they first cast as Fandral was Stuart Townsend from Queen of the Damned.
Ah.
But just like Lord of the Rings, because he was originally cast as Aragorn, at the last minute, they uncast him and then recast him with somebody else.
They were like,
As you can tell by his design, he's very much kind of influenced by or inspired by Errol Flynn.
Also, Lady Sif does have a...
Jamie Alexander?
Sure. She has a
cool
guest
shot.
appearance on
Agents of
S.H.I.E.L.D. One of the better episodes.
This is the first the Marvel Cinematic Universe to really get a chance to create their own world. And They did a hell of a job.
Oh, and everyone's introduction to Idris Elba.
Who could be like any superhero. He's just awesome.
I would love to see him as Jon Stewart Green Lantern.
Yeah, cast him as Batman.
I would watch that Batman.
Yeah.
He looks like Azrael Batman right there.
Yeah.
Asbat.
He's the man.
If you've never seen Luther, watch Luther.
Straight up.
Yeah. Or the first 3 seasons of The Wire. I mean, watch all seasons of The Wire, but he only shows up in the first 3. Yeah, another actor that signed on because of the Ken Branagh factor.
He demands respect.
Fuck you, fat man. That's totally going through Loki's head.
Stop making fun of me.
Yeah, nobody takes me seriously. It's almost like I'm the trickster god or something.
It's a weird wide-angle lens shot. Sorry, just the way that the circular floor warped around bothered me. As a director. I always liked the look of this, too. I thought it was pretty cool.
I feel like there's a section of the Wii Mario Kart Wii that has a Rainbow Road sequence like that, where you teleport, you shoot through space. And, of course, the Bifrost Bridge straight up looks like Rainbow Road.
Mm-hmm. Chris Hemsworth's eyebrows look kind of weird.
Yeah, this is the only movie where they look like that. They're kind of like more blonde than normal.
Like almost clear.
Yeah.
Like Matt Smith's.
It's
Matt Smith almost looks like he has no eyebrows.
It's even more noticeable when he's on Earth, like in the sunlight. But as the movies go on, hair gets longer, beard gets fuller.
I always have loved like a full bearded Thor.
Oh yeah,
that seems more Viking.
That's the way to go.
More Norse.
So Sam, as the more resident Marvel expert, what's some Thor to check out?
Joe Straczynski has a great run. And I really like the first Matt Fraction story on the Mighty Thor, where it's basically Thor and the Asgardians versus Galactus and the Silver Surfer.
I know the Jason Aaron run is a big time seller at the comic shop
too. Yeah, Thor: God of Thunder, phenomenal.
Gene Simmons, Thor: God of Thunder.
The song by Manowar.
The definitive Thor writer, and I would kind of agree with that, is, who wrote him throughout most of the 80s was Walt Simonson. He has a cameo in this movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Very end. And Dan Jurgens, who wrote The Death of Superman, actually had a pretty underrated run on Thor.
I believe Straczynski has a cameo in this as well, too.
He does, in a scene that he wrote for the comics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wrote the idea of, in the beginning of his run, Thor's hammer lands in Oklahoma, and everyone in Oklahoma is trying to lift it.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes.
Of course, for this film, they changed the location to, as we saw previously, New Mexico.
Yes. I once inadvertently pissed off J. Michael Straczynski at New York Comic Con.
I remember that, yeah.
I don't know if it pissed off's the word, but...
surprised him?
Yeah, me and a friend, we were walking around Artist Alley, and we saw J. Michael Straczynski, and I was like, holy crap, J. Michael Straczynski, you wrote... I mean, there's plenty of stuff he wrote, but for me, I really loved his Earth 1 Superman stuff, so I walked over and was looking through some of the stuff on his table, and the guy who was getting stuff signed finished up and left, and so we kind of walked over and started to talk, and he kind of looked at us like with a shocked look on his face, and I was like, what? And he was at the very end of Artist Alley, and I kind of was like, oh crap, and I looked around, and he had a line that wrapped around the back of all the booths that must have been like an hour plus.
Oh, you cut
long, and I was like, we didn't realize. We're like, oh, sorry. Did like one of those backed up? Sorry. So we've been joking that we're waiting for two jerk offs to show up in one of his comics who like skip a con or get killed after doing something like that. He just looked at us weird. He wasn't like fuck you.
Yeah, he just kind of caught off guard. Like what?
It's like sorry.
He just walked up. I don't know. I really like Straczynski's Spider-Man.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
and I'm always like a champion of John Romita Jr. and I think his action scenes in that are top notch. I think that's his best work.
Yeah, but again, check out his Thor run. It's good stuff. You can get it in like 3 individual trades. It only ran for like 12 issues.
Oh, really?
So yeah, because that was a run that was plagued with delays, and he ended up leaving the title prematurely because
was it writer delays or was it artist delays or just a kind of all kinds of stuff?
It's never been explicitly said whom.
Oh.
Though a lot of his stuff has been faced by delays before. But the Spider-Man run was on time.
Mm-hmm. I haven't read much Thor, but I've liked him in Uncanny Avengers.
Yeah.
The Rick Remender stuff.
Yeah. The big reason I think that Straczynski left Thor early is because they wanted to incorporate Thor more into the Marvel universe, like into crossover stories, and he was like, no. And it's like, well, to be fair, Thor's a power player in the Marvel U.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point, he's got to play with the other characters. I just love that Thor loves to fight. Like he's genuinely excited by it.
Yeah.
Kind of like all those Dragon Ball Z characters I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
I did think that they did a good job with this fight scene. The only drawback with it is that it's a little dark. Like it's a little hard to see what's going on just because of like you got to be in a dark room to really be able to see enough details.
Yeah. Especially the Frost Giants, who are also about the same color as their background.
Although at the same time, like that, it probably is how it would look there because it looks like there's no sun, and then and that's probably their advantage.
Nice little foreshadowing of Loki's true parentage.
His true colors.
That was a Marvel Comics thing. Because in traditional Norse mythology, he's just straight up.
Yeah, he's a god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also in Norse mythology, there's I mean, I might be wrong. Like, I'm a little confused about the specifics, but in proper Norse mythology, like Loki and Thor are brothers, but they're not necessarily Odin's direct descendants. Like, it's more of just like Odin is the father of all gods.
Yeah,
kind of like Jupiter and Zeus.
Yeah.
Like, he has no direct descendants per se. He just is kind of the father.
Yeah, the all-father, as it were.
And like, and to further confuse things, Manowar makes it seem like Loki and Odin are brothers, and Thor is like one of their sons or something like that. Between Marvel Comics and Manowar, my knowledge of Norse mythology is so confused.
It's skewed.
Yeah. Far be it for fictional worlds to give me a proper understanding of...
Yeah. Keep it consistent.
Yeah.
God. You know, Manowar was in the Guinness Book of World Records for a time as the loudest band in the world.
I have heard that, yeah.
There's just no competing with Thor. It's like, well, fuck you. I've wrecked your planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, how he's like, fuck you then, I'll walk underneath the land.
I mean, Thor really is one of the most, if you think about it, one of the most powerful Avengers. This entire fight scene's just been really a showcase of what he can do when he's at full power.
I mean, I would almost think like he is. Wouldn't you say?
He's like pound for pound. He's right up there with the Hulk in terms of brute strength.
Yeah.
But he can also fly. He's also got electricity. He's got the. If he was just beating on the Hulk with a hammer, he would probably win out.
I mean, the Hulk. You see him in Avengers. He can't lift it.
Yeah. Well, that's more of a worthy thing.
Yeah, I know, but still. Fucking Zorro status.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah. You're fucking grounded.
Dude, your son just wrecked half my planet.
The whole way back, Thor's like, I am in so much trouble. Silent the whole way back on the Bifrost. This is my favorite scene in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Being cast out. They said that when they filmed this, everyone was like brought to tears by how like hurt Anthony Hopkins plays it. It's he's angry, but he plays that disappointed shame and hurt
parent.
And the two of them together are fantastic in this scene. Chris Hemsworth and Anthony Hopkins.
Brana really brings out the emotion here.
Absolutely. Yep.
That exchange always kind of got to me.
That was it. That was what they brought everyone to tears.
And then everyone laughs at that.
Yeah. I have to say, Anthony Hopkins is the most badass Santa Claus ever.
Yeah. I wonder if he had to memorize his lines with the eye patch or not, because I know... sorry, I'm just like drawn in by the scene. Sam Jackson talked about having a hard time recalling the script when he had the eye patch on, when he would read it with two eyes. Just a weird...
Interesting.
It's
thing,
like almost like muscle memory.
Yeah. I mean, Hopkins, like I said, he reads the stuff so many times and he's so thorough about it. And I think, for me, this is the coolest visual shot when he, right here.
Now, one big complaint I have about this scene is that I feel like that last bit was really rushed, and like I don't think it adequately explained like why he charmed Mjolnir or whatever, like he made it seem like he was now making it so that the only people that could hold Mjolnir were those who were worthy, but that's not totally accurate. Like I feel like that was like a little bit of a thing because like the whole reason why he's sent to Earth is because he's being a whiny little brat, and Odin wants to teach him humility.
Yep.
And then once he gets that, then he can use Mjolnir again. But like they just kind of like were like, no, I cast you out, and then I'm throwing the hammer down, and I whispered into it, and like the famous words like that are inscribed on Mjolnir, but like it didn't convey across that he's being sent to Earth to learn a lesson. And I don't. I feel like they could have done that by just, fixing the lines.
It's a sword in the stone scenario. He just, it's really the same myth if you think about it.
But like, how is Thor supposed to learn his lesson if he doesn't know that he's supposed to be learning a lesson?
I mean,
that's my complaint. Like, we all know it because we know the story.
Yeah. And he finds out rather quickly when he finally does get to the hammer.
Yeah, but I feel like that's bad parenting. Maybe that's what it's boiling down to. Shame on you, Odin.
He would not find you worthy. Then, granted, we'd all be wanting, wouldn't we? The only people I've seen that have lifted Mjolnir were what? Beta Ray Bill, that new lady in the comics, in the current Thor comics.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America's lifted it a couple times.
Deadpool has lifted it once.
Yeah. Red Hulk used it in space where there's no gravity. This guy gets fucked up so hard, he's just like, hi.
That's the best way to come out of, like, being knocked out. How dare you attack the son of Odin? They played, like, great comedic effect in this movie.
Oh, yeah. It's probably one of the more...
Kenneth Branagh's pretty good at that, mixing comedy
I think, actually, this is the Marvel movie that makes me laugh the most.
Yeah, I saw butt crack.
Ladies. But, Superman lifts it in the JLA Avengers crossover.
Wonder Woman does.
Yeah.
In
DC versus Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. But decides that it's cheating and then loses her fight against Storm. Spoilers.
Like I said, I would always love to have a commission of He-Man picking it up.
But yeah, this shot originally took place in the comics in Oklahoma, and there
he is.
There's Joe Straczynski literally becoming a part of his own narrative.
Yeah.
One day I'm gonna Grant Morrison.
Yeah. One day I'm gonna come across a little shit who cuts in front of me at a New York Comic-Con. Fuck this! I'm gonna go write some more Thor.
Shit, I'm gonna go write Ninja Assassin and The Changeling because he wrote both those movies.
I never saw The Changeling
Directed by
or Ninja Assassin.
Yeah.
Now, I might be wrong, and also the movies were filmed about 30 years apart. But this strip that they show, and more specifically when they show it when the Destroyer comes and attacks at the climax of the movie. Spoilers. It looks a lot like the strip that General Zod lands in Houston.
In Superman 2.
In Superman 2. And I always want to believe that it's the same little town.
You could. I feel like both of those towns are built. I know this one for sure was built from scratch. Like this isn't
and both towns are basically one street.
Yeah.
and like 10 buildings.
Yeah. All storefront facades.
Yeah. It's like a Wild West show.
Yeah. Like that episode of Star Trek, the original series, Spectre of the Gun, where it's only storefronts.
What was that?
That's
my favorite episode.
That's your favorite episode.
I actually love the look in that episode, like the just the storefronts.
Yeah.
Not Trouble with Tribbles?
Nope, haven't got there yet.
A lot of canted angles. I mean, to be fair, that's typical of like comic books. cocking the taser gun. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. This is also the scene with the Stan Lee cameo.
It's coming right up.
Yeah. I love how it's turned into like a tailgate.
I feel like that guy looks like the janitor from
A little
Scrubs.
bit.
Looks
Yeah,
like
a
it, but
little
it's
bit.
definitely
It's
not
not,
him.
but yeah.
One of the only times that he actually has like a real line, too,
Yeah.
right? It's usually just a goofy look.
As opposed to the silent cameos in the first two Iron Man movies. Or just saying wow in The Incredible Hulk. There's a scene, of course, recycled footage from the post-credit scene in Iron Man 2, which was also directed by Ken Branagh.
Ooh, ladies.
For the according to
Sam
Chris
Stone likes girls.
according to Chris Hemsworth, he said he didn't work out really actively before taking the role. Which gives all us out of shape slubs hope. Oh, well, maybe if I work out seriously like Chris Hemsworth, I can look exactly like that with a weird, muscles. It's Donald Blake, of course, is Thor's human alter ego in the comics. They decide to just straight up God Thor. They're like he doesn't change between human and,
God, his
and
eyebrows
Asgardian
do
forms.
look weird. Sorry. I just
Yeah.
saw that and I was like, ugh. It's like he has frosted tips on his eyebrows. Justin Timberlake from when he was in NSYNC called and was like, whoa, dude, too much.
Rene Russo had a lot more to do in this movie than the theatrical cut. If you look at some of the deleted scenes available on the DVD, there's shots of her, talking to Anthony Hopkins, like, reacting to Thor's exile and stuff. She gets a much bigger role in the sequel because that's all she gets.
Yeah,
she doesn't show up post
It's
sequel.
It's designed to give you a emotional response to what happens. Has that guy been in anything else recently? I feel like I
The guy that
recognize
plays
him.
Hogan. Hogan knows best.
Whoa.
And he does, because he calls Loki as the traitor, so maybe Hogan does know best.
Well, he's a hero.
Now, in terms of, like, big emotional
Really?
sequences...
Rude.
Yeah, in terms of big emotional... I don't give a shit. In terms of big emotional
Someone
sequences,
laughed.
this is another big one.
In the name of love.
I wish Odin had like a little nighty cap on.
After watching this, I would love to see Anthony Hopkins as Jor-El, too. Just see him being like, Krypton.
If you want to see a great Anthony Hopkins movie, check out a movie called The World's Fastest Indian. I think it's his most charming and heartwarming performance.
You had asked if the actor that plays Hogan was in anything else lately.
Yeah.
He's also been in, thanks to the wonders of the internet, he's also been in a personal favorite. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. Shut the fuck up. He's been in...
That's probably the best sync up to anything we've ever done in a commentary with something that happened on screen ever.
I know, he really wants to know. He was in Battleship.
Oh,
yeah.
He was the captain of the Japanese vessel.
Nice.
And he's in 47 Ronin as one of the 47 Ronin.
You have to see that film.
He's all 47 Ronin.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I like that you can see here that, like, even though he's just had this huge blow argument with Odin, he still loves him.
Yeah.
well, he still is his dad.
Yeah.
Maybe not his father, because I feel like, if you want to split hairs, in my opinion, father is like, your blood, and then dad is who raised you. Some of us, it's one and the same.
This is a scene we would always quote whenever we went to IHOP or Denny's after this movie. I mean, we wouldn't actually do this, but we thought it was funny.
There's a deleted scene where he apologizes directly to that waitress and actually gives her a brand new coffee mug.
Hmm.
It's really cute.
Hulk smash?
That's also a really nice thing that, like, he realizes that he's in a different culture and that what he's done is a faux pas, and apologizes for it by saying that he meant no disrespect, and then they're like, well, you can't do it again. And he's like, okay. And then he never does.
So charming, Chris Hemsworth. So charming.
He is. Like, I'm totally cool with Jason Momoa playing Aquaman, but in a perfect world, I'd cast Chris Hemsworth as Aquaman.
In a heartbeat.
In a New York minute.
Ooh.
Didn't his brother Liam also try out for Thor?
Yeah, they both auditioned. So did Alexander Skarsgård, Stellan's son.
I mean, Liam's got his own franchise with the
Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games
Yeah.
role that he really isn't much in the first one, but obviously is much more important. I'm assuming throughout the series. I've never read the books, but I've enjoyed the 2 films so far.
Honestly, I haven't
The
seen
second
it.
one, he's barely in the second one. Like, he's in the second one.
Oh,
I wanna
really?
say less.
Okay, I thought he was more in the second.
But in the third one, he plays a much bigger part. I
Okay.
mean, I've only read the first book, but I know that he becomes a more important character.
yeah, I've enjoyed both movies.
Honestly, and I haven't seen either.
Oh.
Which has been like a conscious decision, like, fuck the Hunger Games, I'm not going to watch the Hunger Games. I just never got around to watching either of the Hunger Games.
That's one of those where, like, you know what? I'll see all of them in the theaters. Just it's been fun.
Sure.
For whatever reason, I decided to read the first one when the first movie came out. And I was like, okay, it's all right. It's a young adult book.
Yeah.
Watched the movie, enjoyed it, thought that it fell victim to the typical, like, screwing up the adaptation kind of tropes that usually happen. Then, like, could not get into the second book, and I didn't really enjoy the second movie. Mostly I think because Alan Richardson was in it, the guy that played Aquaman on Smallville.
Oh yeah.
The second guy to play Aquaman on Smallville, and also
Well, the second guy to play Aquaman, he was the only one who played Aquaman on Smallville. The pilot Justin Hartley played Aquaman on an unaired pilot, but he was the only guy to play Aquaman on the series.
Oh, really? I thought they had some. Not that it matters. That's
Splitting hairs.
But Jinx. And also Thad on Blue Mountain State.
Yes.
And I was just really upset that his character was so small in the second Hunger Games movie that I don't think I let it go.
You hold that Chris Nolan movie grudge.
I do. It's an intense grudge.
Tis. I used to have the biggest
Now back to Thor.
crush on Natalie Portman.
She was one of the things that I liked about the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah, that's when I probably had the biggest crush on Natalie Portman was during the Star Wars prequels.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Attack of the Clones?
Hold me, Anakin, like you did on the lake out in Naboo.
There it is. There he is. Yeah, there he is.
I gotta be honest, I wouldn't mind living. I've always wouldn't mind the prospect between this and Breaking Bad of living in a kind of a more arid desert-like setting.
Totally.
Yeah, even though I'm not a big fan of heat, a dry heat like that is much more sufferable than a wet heat like we have in the summers here.
Maybe like in the mountains.
Yeah. Like where I feel Rambo,
Well, it's the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. But like,
Yeah,
there's
so
mountains.
New England.
I saw a mountain in one of the Rambo movies.
Did you see Sasquatch?
No.
Because it's the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
It's where a lot of Sasquatch sightings are.
Oregon. Back to the golden pipe organ in space. Honestly, you would think news of Odin having a basic heart attack
A stroke.
would spread.
An Odin sleep.
They'd be like, oh, of course
Din?
Odin would be. Yeah. That's not how Odin sleep works.
All you need is Pikachu to cry for you, and you wake up from an Odin sleep.
Well, then, let's get our hands on a Pikachu. An electric rat Pokemon. Bitch, please.
You see the horns on my head? I'm always a sucker for the like brother kind of relationships in like the superhero books and just in general in fiction, and calls back to Aquaman and Ocean Master. That's probably my favorite.
Orm
Yeah.
and Arthur.
Orm and Arthur. That's some beautiful, heavy brother rivalry stuff going on in the, especially the Jeff Johns run.
I will say, as much as I love Tom Hiddleston's Loki, and how well it's been written and stuff like that, I am kind of tired of him being like the fallback.
Well, I think they're easing off of
plot.
it. Yeah, but he'll always be around, and then it'll be a celebrated return when he comes back.
Yeah. I'm glad that he wasn't like the bad guy in Thor: The Dark World. Like he did some mischievous shit. Like,
I think that's his best.
Loki's
his
supposed
best
to be.
Loki is in that one. We'll save it for that one, but just a little teaser.
Look how happy Stellan Skarsgård is.
Ooh, a rainbow road.
How relaxing.
Bifrost. Thursday.
This car gets an F. It's a
And lizards.
again that line, so silly, but it just cracks me up. I need a horse.
It's because he says it so earnestly.
Yeah, because it's like, why would that be dumb to him?
Do you like me or like me?
We almost died. Well, you would have died. I'm a fucking god.
All of his powers have been taken away.
He would have been fine.
You're fine.
He still has some degree of power.
I mean, he's like a jacked man.
Well, he
Beard.
can still like call like rain and thunder,
Yeah.
as we're about to see.
Does he call the rain and thunder?
As we're about to see.
I'm sorry, I've seen this movie multiple times and I never made that connection. As we're about to see. I know what you're gonna say. As we're about to... No. I see you. You're gonna be like, as we are now seeing when it happens too, aren't you? You son of a bitch.
Prepare your ass for the burn.
I want a bed that has like a orange glaze on it.
Aura.
Yeah. Do not wake me.
Stay behind my aura. That's a quote from Zardoz.
I was about to say, okay, Sean Connery, stay behind my aura.
I would pick that for one of my like specialty picks for podcast, but nobody wants to watch fucking Zardoz.
Really? You subjected us to Double Team
Trust me.
and Waterworld?
Compared.
Oh no, I've seen Zardoz
Okay.
multiple times.
Yeah.
I would rather watch that than Waterworld again.
To be honest, probably. Me too. I forgot how bad Waterworld was.
Oh my god,
That was a mistake.
I'd rather watch Wild Wild West over fucking Waterworld.
I would,
And
too.
I love Kevin Costner.
And I love Waterworld.
Reminds me of E.T.
Nah, Mac and me. Part of me wants to watch Mac and Me, but part of me doesn't want to subject myself to that horror.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You've never seen Mac and Me? I'm sure you have seen Mac
No,
and Me.
I haven't.
Have you at least heard of Mac and Me?
No.
Oh wow.
I'll show you the trailer.
See,
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh look, nothing's gonna happen," and he's like, "I'm gonna fuck up the sky."
I saw no correlation between...
Yeah, the fact that she's like, "Oh, what are you talking about? It's fine," and then he looks up and the thunder happens.
He didn't look up or...
Yeah,
and thunder happened. There was no... No, he looked up, and then he said a couple lines, and then it cut to lightning
You didn't
and
hear
thunder.
the you didn't hear the rumble because
No.
you're too busy sucking your own dick.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's Maximiliano.
Still, like there was no scene where he was like, "Oh, boop, I'm gonna make rain and thunder happen."
I'm sorry, I wasn't that explicit. I'm sorry you didn't make that connection. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, let's watch Thor beat the shit out of a lot of people.
All it is to me right now is thematic, and a fucking just a coincidence. What is it? Correlation doesn't equal causality, Sam.
Yeah.
I expect that in life and in movies.
Yeah. Everything's spelled out explicitly.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not going to accept it as being true.
I like causing chaos,
Yeah.
breaking bones. He owns some dudes in this scene.
I always felt so bad for him because he's so sure that he's going to get the hammer.
Oh, he's so he's so stoked.
It's a great reveal and a super heartbreaking scene.
If you looked closely, there was you could see the bruise on his back from, I guess, earlier takes of fight scenes or whatever, because there was a sizable bruise on his shoulder blade.
Dang.
You know, it was that was a last-minute addition, too, because I remember for the longest time.
You don't like that?
I mean, it's just... he's Hawkeye. He's going to grab the bow. He doesn't need to go, oh, God, no, I'm going to take the bow.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't know that until he grabs the bow.
Yeah, but it could have...
Just a fun little scene.
It's
a fun little scene. Stop taking joy out of life.
Cut half a second out of it.
You know, you can admit you're wrong every now and again.
Stop taking joy out of life.
Yeah.
How is that wrong? It's a subjective thing. I think it's dumb that he went for the gun and then grabbed the bow.
Yeah.
Maybe he was feeling like, today I'm going to be
today I'm going to use a
different.
sniper rifle.
Today I'm going to use a high caliber rifle.
I only ever use a bow and arrow, but you know what? Today I think I might listen to Coulson when he says grab a gun and no, fuck it. I'm going to take the bow and arrow.
There are sequences in the Avengers where he uses guns.
Oh. I don't.
Yeah.
I thought I might go somewhere with that, but I was like, nah, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah. He loves him big.
I feel like Sam Stone has said that in his life.
That scene in Batman '89. There's a scene. This is gonna go with Marvel and Batman '89. I think I told you this already. Where Spider-Man comes across a guy in the Todd McFarlane '89 run, where he's like grabbing him, and the guy asks, "What are you?" And Spider-Man goes, I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There's several moments in Deadpool runs where stuff like that happens too. It's cute.
I feel like it's the only time they can get away with it.
Yeah. Like there was one scene where Deadpool's like perched on a rooftop or something like that, and he's like, God, my leg's cramping. Like, how does Batman do this? And then one of his thought bubbles pops in, and he's like, who?
You can't talk about that.
Yeah.
So happy, and less happy.
Huh? That's what Sam Stone looks like when he's taking a dump.
That's what I look like when I'm taking a dump. I want to see those veins in the neck bulging. That's when you know you're letting a big one loose.
Just yells out, "Release the Kraken!"
Fire! Fire everything!
No, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, Jake lives with me.
I live with him.
knows, yeah.
I've walked when Sam's let out like a huge fart, and so we're gonna break it down real quick.
Sure,
we're all
sure.
friends here, okay?
Yeah.
So Sam and I do live together, and it was after a podcast. It was like 3:30 in the morning. We got back to the place, and Sam like immediately goes to use the restroom by the kitchen, and I forget something in the car. I go back out in the car, and I come back inside, and I walk by the bathroom, and I hear like 2 mammoth farts, and then I immediately hear Sam laughing at himself, and it was the funniest shit of all time.
You gotta laugh if it's
You got to,
if
yeah.
it's that uproarious, yeah.
Everyone does it, and it made me laugh for like a minute. So,
if I remember hearing this story correctly, didn't you laugh more than Sam did? You were.
Well, I mean, at first, because I don't know if Sam was. You laugh when you have a huge loud fart because it's just the way of the world.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, it's one of the great joys of life. But I don't know if Sam knew that I heard him and made him laugh more because he heard the door open. But it was just like, and then he was like, like that really loud, boisterous laugh, and I laughed like all the way upstairs. And there's gas.
Well played, Kenneth Branagh.
This is one where like it's just popping up on cue, and we don't.
Sharpshooter.
Yeah. We don't script any of this.
Mew Mew.
Yeah, God, if we scripted this, I'm sorry. If you thought we scripted this, how smart are you?
Yeah.
/ how dumb are you? Shh.
Same quantity.
It's being more explicit.
Yeah. The absence of
Actually, it would be the inverse quantity.
The absence of intelligence.
Can't prove the absence of something.
Like Thor causing the rain.
Yeah, I'm just saying that correlation doesn't equal causation.
I mean, he's clearly all about it, though.
Is he?
Yes.
Maybe he just is like, oh, hey, look, it's about to rain. You're a dumb bitch. Doesn't know how to see signs of, a storm coming.
No, but in that scene, she's like, what's going on? And then, like, there's a rumble. And he's like, yeah. And he whips out his...
Yeah. You know what? If I don't see storm clouds, I'm like, huh? And then you hear thunder, you might be like, oh, yeah.
You probably still think the world's flat.
This is the worst scene of his eyebrows, by the way.
Yeah.
No, there are pictures from space that show that the world is rounded.
2-dimensional pictures.
Like
yeah, it's true.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, if you really want to hear about this, yes, I have personally no tangible proof that the world is round.
Yeah.
I, myself, you, yourself, I imagine, also do not possess such evidence.
But I believe it's so.
That's fine. You can believe it all you want. Just don't tell me.
I believe it's so.
Just don't tell me like it's a definitive fact that you have proof of
so
in your hand.
saith the spider.
Like I said, it's okay to admit you're wrong.
I will admit I'm wrong when I'm wrong.
Which is now.
No, you still
All right,
haven't proved
hang on.
to me.
Everyone shut the fuck up for a second.
And pay attention to those eyebrows.
Yes, but like that beard, is it fake? Because it looks fake.
It looks fake.
It might have been reshoot material.
Or is it just colored a certain way?
It looked
because
he's fake earlier too.
He's not that blonde.
There's a lot of bleach work that's done for.
He's got the
Chris
Green
Hemsworth.
Hornet outfit on, by the way.
tips.
Well done. Tom Hiddleston also in Warhorse.
Gets rocked in Warhorse.
Gets rocked in Warhorse.
Benedict Cumberbatch is in that film too.
That's right.
You
The
know,
kid in that
are you
movie.
not
Was,
a Cumberbatch?
I'm so over Cumberbatch.
I like him.
I got oversaturated.
I'm really actually. There's a lot of great trailers before Fury, and one of them is about the decoding.
Oh, where he's Alan Turing?
Yeah, it looked really, really good. Also, British Natalie Portman's in it. What's her name?
Natalie Portman.
Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley. Thank you.
She did play her double in.
Look at that
Empire,
single tier.
the
Single
Phantom
tier.
Menace.
It's the one. It was Rose Byrne in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, interesting.
Well, those are on the schedule, guys. Don't you? Watch this space in like months.
Watch our MySpace. In
Oh, we should have a MySpace.
What are we, a band?
Yeah.
Offer free samples. Like all this shit ain't free.
I need to visit my MySpace, see what it's all about.
Offer free samples, like a snippet of me and Sam arguing over the mics.
Yeah.
I mean, probably made this commentary more entertaining.
Yeah, everyone can know you're wrong. Stings, doesn't it?
It would sting. It would sting if you had proved it, and I were sitting here like, no, you're wrong. I'm not saying. I'm saying that you haven't proved it to me. You didn't tell me to pay attention when it happened, so I didn't know to pay attention. So I haven't seen the proof that you so clearly believe in. And then every time you mention it, it's just like, oh, he looks at the sky, and then there's a thunder rumble. Oh, of course, that means that he made the thunder rumble.
It's implied.
Is it? He looks at the sky.
He's the god of thunder.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And he had his powers stripped away.
He's still got it. I like I said earlier, I feel like he still has a degree.
You feel like it.
Yeah, because it's
You
implied.
feel like it.
It's implied.
It's implied.
Look at
That
me.
doesn't mean that it is. That's correlation, not causation.
Taxation without representation.
Exactly.
That is.
So that's why I'm not going to admit that I'm wrong. People,
Mm.
if you want to throw more evidence my way, go right ahead. If it's proved that I'm wrong, then I will say I'm wrong and you were right.
Okay.
and I will back away. I'm fighting you now because you keep saying I'm wrong. I'm not fighting that he's not controlling the weather. I'm telling you that there's not enough proof for me to agree that you're right.
I feel like there's been there it is again with the Donald Blake
Yeah.
in the New York because he was based out of New York. Why do you try to bullshit the CIA or basically like the NSA level people?
Oh, we're about to get
The Foo,
the Foo.
Ooh.
which was another late minute edition.
I remember I like
Late minute last
when
minute.
we were going to see this. One of my friends I was seeing it with, I was like, "Fucking the Foo's in this." I was like so psyched, and like the scene that's coming up, I was like, "Oh my god, it's the fucking Walk!" And she was like, "Okay, settle the fuck down."
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons I was really psyched about the post credit scene was you get to listen to the entire song. Like you kind of sit through it and you get to listen to it.
Yeah, and there it is.
Yay.
Yeah, Ken Branagh said it was, because the lyrical stuff, like he's learning to walk again,
Yeah.
so to speak.
I wish there was a Foo song in every Marvel movie.
Yeah.
There
There was a Foo song in every movie.
Yeah.
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 Is it wrong if I like the Foo Fighters more than Nirvana?
No.
I mean, I like Nirvana more than the Foo Fighters, but
Yeah, I'm not,
to each their own.
I'm with you
To
there.
each their own.
yeah.
I agree with you on that.
They're
point.
more thank you. They're more accessible. Me and Chris are giving each other a hard time if you haven't noticed, but we're like, it's not like we're like
We're
literally,
like frenemies.
yeah, we're not like strangling each other where I'm like, I'm right. You don't have to have it directly spelled out, you cock. Like, we're not like that. It's not like that.
No. No.
So don't worry, faithful listeners.
We're not like Kiss.
Yeah. Or,
We air out our grievances
Yeah.
for everyone.
or what was
so
it?
that we don't end up strangling each other
Yeah,
later.
I feel like Mick Jagger and Keith Richards have a pretty vitriolic, or Lennon and McCartney, of course, is the ultimate example.
Or McCartney and Jackson.
Which one of us is? Oh yeah. Well, that's more like, hey, I'm going to buy the rights to all your songs. Bye.
It's like, hey, friend, can you buy these songs so I can get them back from you? Oh, yeah, sure I can.
Well,
oh, thanks. That's so great. Yeah, now I'm going to take them away and I'm going to sell them to car commercials
well, during the it was.
and make my own covers of these songs.
I forget
Chris
what-
Nolan's going to like them better.
Well, we don't agree on that one. Yeah.
Well, I said Chris Nolan's going to
You
like
did.
it
You
better.
did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, which is true.
I do like Michael Jackson's Come Together more than the Beatles.
Yeah. There's no way I can be like, fuck you.
No, you don't.
That's an
No, you
that there is an example of you being wrong. Like the proof is there because you can listen to both.
Yeah.
I'll take
And
Michael
it's-
Jackson over Aerosmith's.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't ever liked Aerosmith's.
Or
Aerosmiths didn't like
Aerosmith's cover of Paul McCartney's
Live and
James
Let
Bond
Die?
song. Yeah,
It was Guns N'
Guns N'
Roses.
Roses.
Well, okay, fine.
They
Every
didn't
time,
they didn't-
every
they
every
didn't
time I
Helter
make a
Skelter.
joke, every time I make a joke about Guns N' Roses cover of "To Live and Let Die," I feel like you bring up Aerosmith's, and I'm like, they did a cover too.
They did Come Together, I thought.
They did Helter Skelter too, right?
Did
Is
they?
it every time I joke about Michael Jackson covering "Come Together" that you
You
bring
also
up
what
Aerosmith?
you say, if memory serves, and it always does, is that because my memory's stupid.
Well, every time either song comes up, I'm
Every
like, oh, isn't it so
yeah.
cool that the Beatles covered Michael Jackson? Or isn't it so cool that Paul McCartney covered
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses?
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I almost always pair the two together that I forget which one you say Aerosmith did as well.
They did Come Together.
Okay.
And apparently Helter Skelter.
I thought I know Motley Crue did it. Maybe Aerosmith.
You
did
too.
it
Yeah,
live.
I know Motley Crue did Helter Skelter because at karaoke, the Helter Skelter that they have is it's labeled Beatles, but it's actually more akin to the Motley Crue version.
Let me do a classic Chris Nolan noise of doing
the
Motley Crue Helter Skelter because everyone who's ever covered Helter Skelter never got
even you
what
too.
made it heavy, which was not making
Yeah,
it
fuck
heavy.
you too.
Especially you two. Apparently, they do it in Rattle and Hum, which is their live album. They're like Charles Manson stole this song from the Beatles. We're here to take it back.
Yeah. Helter Skelter is my favorite Beatles song.
It's a great
It's a
song.
d-
Mostly
great track.
because to me it sounds like a Who song,
Yeah.
and I love the Who
Well,
more
it
than I
was-
love the
It
Beatles.
was inspired by a Who song.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Jake's dad apparently turned it into a chip bowl.
Yeah, I don't know which which
disc.
disc it was. But
For the sake of story, both discs.
yeah, we'll do both.
For the sake of story, the Helter Skelter disc.
whichever song we're talking about,
Yeah.
that disc.
For in that case, the
It's like-
second one then.
Yeah.
It was Helter Skelter and Revolution 1 and Revolution 9. That was the same album, right? That was all the White Album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And those are on the same
disc
disc too. Yeah.
All three of the songs that I just mentioned.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. They're on the second
Really?
half of the album.
I thought Revolution 1 was on the first disc and Revolution 9 was on the second disc.
No.
Yes.
I mean, whatever. I've only listened to it digitally, so it doesn't matter.
I do love the White Album.
It's my sister's favorite.
I guess technically it
So
would be
if it-
my favorite since it has my favorite song on it.
Well, my favorite song is
But I don't
Lucy
know-
in the Sky.
Yeah,
which
I
is
don't
on-
know about whole I mean, I haven't
Yeah.
listened to whole albums enough. I'm not an album person. I'm a singles person.
Especially in this day and age, sure.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
film
it's
brought
very
to you by
conducive.
Cashy.
Your sister's favorite song is Dear Prudence, right?
It is also on the White Album.
Now, there's a deleted scene that happens. I forget exactly what it is, but it's somewhere between here and when they're at the bar, and it just kind of shows them like kind of being very merry,
Yeah.
and basically it shows how he gets so bad that he needs to be carried home.
Yeah.
And it's just it's another cute scene, not
Yeah.
necessarily necessary to further the story. It doesn't have any useful information like, "Hi, I'm Thor and I still control the weather."
Yeah. Because he totally can. You're preaching to the fucking choir as far as I'm concerned. I've proved my point.
You haven't proved shit.
Yeah,
You've said your piece. You
I've
haven't
said my
proved-
piece,
you
and I've
haven't
been
proved anything.
and I've said, hey, you don't have to have it spelled out directly for it to, because I feel like there have been times where you've been like, I hate it when they spell it out like explicitly, it's like, well, that's one of those things where it's great, very strongly, heavily implied that
No,
he's,
it's not. He looks at the sky.
like.
There's
That's more of a sigh of like, you're never gonna fucking get it. I'm just gonna give up. I'm giving up on you, Chris.
Now that I know which scene to watch, I'll rewatch it with the intent of like looking to see.
Objectively.
I'll look at it again objectively. You promised me that you were going to be like, here, you'll see in a second.
Well,
You'll see in a
you
second."
told me not to.
No,
it was very like,
no. I said.
you're gonna do it. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
yeah,
That's
you're gonna
exactly
do it. Aren't
what
you gonna fucking do it?
And I was like, oh well, I better not do it. This is what happens when I don't do it.
Yeah. You don't prove your point.
Yeah. God, sorry.
You just admitted that you didn't prove your point.
No, I fuck you. I mean, I'm cool as a cucumber, bitch. I'm just looking at them pretty lights in the background now.
Oh, yeah? Is he gonna make it rain now because he's
No,
looking
why
at
would
pretty lights?
No, because he's trying to get a romantic night with Natalie Portman. Wouldn't want to put out the fire in his pants.
I was about to make a joke.
I mean, strategically making it rain in that scene would have been beneficial towards Thor.
Yeah, and it straight up fucks up their surveillance devices.
And
too.
it looks really cool as a thematic device, much like it raining during a funeral.
Thor went to film school on Asgard, so he knows.
She's just
Asgardian film school.
yeah.
You call it cinematography. Your ancestors called it
Magic.
Yeah, I come from a world where they're one and the same.
Yeah.
Single-handedly one of the coolest and dumbest lines in the
They
movie.
do
in my
reference
opinion.
like Arthur C. Clarke though.
Like I thought it was a cool thing to add that it's like, oh, let me spell out that magic and science can be one and the same.
Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive, and they say it, and we kind of like gabbed over it earlier, like kind of like the the rain scene. The I'm never gonna let it go.
That's fine.
The
But see the way that they did it there with the whole like
tree.
like that's a good way of implying it, or rather like bringing it to showing it without like shoving it in your face, like Edward Nygma drinking out of a question mark mug.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, this scene also reminded me of John Carter and Deja Thoris when they're talking.
Yeah.
About just explaining each other's worlds, and
You've never seen John Carter though, right, Chris?
no, I have not.
We gotta rectify.
that's
maybe.
good.
Maybe it'll be.
I will.
Maybe
like
it'll
that
be
movie.
your birthday pick.
Maybe.
Maybe
knows?
I'll substitute. Like that's a pulp. That's technically a pulp
It is.
thing. So I can add that. I'll take a Dick Tracy actually for that. Yeah. We've all fucking seen Dick Tracy. He doesn't hold up. Sam knows it doesn't hold up
I know
because
it
we
doesn't
watched
hold
it
up,
together.
Yeah.
I still love it.
I'm not saying I don't enjoy it.
I like it too, but why we could?
I
we
like it
can,
more
we
than
can
The
intro-
Rocketeer.
We can introduce you. That's wrong as well. You're wrong again. You are wrong
You
again.
can't be wrong about an opinion.
That's not an opinion.
That's empirical fact.
Both movies are out there to be seen. They've been seen.
I'm not saying that it's a better movie. I'm saying that I like it more.
You can't.
We're gonna brainwash you.
Yes.
You're gonna
I will lock you in a room and you will
Mentally
watch The
conditioned.
Rocketeer over and over again.
You lock the door as you're saying, it's bad enough you even like Wild
Yeah.
Wild West.
You will not come out until you like this movie and recite it verbatim.
It could have a negative. It could have a reverse effect. He could develop a.
Well, if that's the case, we brainwash
8.
him. We erase his brain. Start over.
Just start from
we
scratch.
erase it and start over.
First, Thor controls the weather,
Yeah,
even though he has
exactly.
no other powers.
Yeah. That being said, I think it'd be beneficial to watch John Carter instead of Dick Tracy because we could introduce Chris to it.
It's a longer film, but okay,
It's got Taylor Kitsch.
it does.
Oh, well, in that case. I was about
And
to...
it's got Lynn Collins too,
It does.
I was about
and Willem
to...
Dafoe,
Oh.
and Bryan Cranston.
Ah.
Yeah.
But
that-
he's only in half of it.
Not even.
No, God.
Not even
he's-
half.
Yeah. Blink and you miss it, Cranston.
Yeah.
The best Cranston of all.
I grew up.
I wonder
Like-
how much of a bitch it was to create that
Yeah.
ruin in the middle.
Oddly enough, they did it with those Zen garden rakes that are only like
Yeah.
6 inches long. And they were like, this is so inefficient.
I feel like we could do this faster.
And Kenneth Branagh is like, no, I want it to feel Zen.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's not even the right culture.
I learned how to carry plates.
Oh.
Truly a wondrous place, this Midgard.
How quaint. They use plates
Yes.
as
He's
opposed
also-
to the plates that we use on Ascot.
Fan of flannel.
Who isn't?
Flannel's the way to go. That was like my high school wardrobe. Was basically Luke Danes from Gilmore Girls, except I didn't wear my hat backwards.
There's a really... well, there's a deleted scene involving those two.
You know, they didn't seem to...
This fucking guy.
They didn't seem to incognito.
Yeah, but there's
Incognitus.
a deleted scene when the Warriors 3 finally make it and Lady Sif make it to Asgard. Like here they are. They are clearly in order as part of Marvel's then marketing deal with. Hey, look at the fat man, Mom. Look at the fat man. The
With the axe.
With the axe.
God, why do you focus on his, quote unquote negative attributes?
Have you seen how big Volstagg is in the comics?
Have you seen my Volstagg? Is that Burger King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as part of their marketing deal with Burger King, they're sitting there eating Burger
King.
King. But there's a deleted scene where Volstagg teleports. This sounds so fucking stupid, which is why they removed it. He teleports to the roof, knocks both of them out, and eats the dude's Whopper, and he's like, "Oh, exquisite!" And it's just like, this is the stupidest scene.
Should have been a commercial.
Yeah.
He did say, one of them looks like Robin Hood. Of course, he's based off of Errol Flynn,
Yeah.
who played Robin Hood.
That's right.
Dick? Boy, do you have egg on your face. No, I mean, you seriously have egg on your face, Thor.
No, that's his beard.
Oh, shit. Oh, and that's his eyebrows, too. Okay, sorry.
Not a glob.
It's just kind of...
I thought he
his
just smeared
beard
himself with
smeared.
egg. He loves it so much.
Another!
This wondrous thing smeared over my face. Egg.
Just like Sub-Zero.
So you can kill him by throwing a bucket of water at him? Test your might.
Wait, they take out Sub-Zero by throwing a bucket of water at him?
Yeah.
In the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie in like 20 years, guys.
It's a great movie.
It is. From what I remember, it's one of the best comic book adaptation or video game adaptations.
Yes.
They need to like make a new movie.
There's been talk, and there's that web series.
Yeah.
I
with
saw like some clips
with
of it.
Michael J. White.
As Jax. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It was so good.
Nice.
He's kicking ass on
That was
Arrow.
actually supposed to be like a backdoor pilot
Yeah.
for
I'd be
a
down.
TV show.
I'd be down. Cool look. It's all connected.
Oh, and that's
Look
guy,
at how cool that looks.
Yeah,
Jasper Sitwell.
the bald guy is. Yeah, he's he factors largely in Cap 2.
That's right.
Yep.
And the last couple episodes of the first season of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I really need to watch the rest of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. Well, I don't see why it's not on Netflix yet. Unless it is.
I mean, you'd think with their licensing deal,
And with Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon fucking loves Netflix.
Yeah.
All of his shit is on Netflix.
though Serenity isn't on there anymore.
Well, not all of his shit.
That's probably more of a licensing deal with, was it 20th Century Fox?
Yeah, well, Fox was who had the TV show, so
Yeah.
I assume Fox had the movie. Such authoritative.
Dennings.
I feel like Sam yells that a lot. All right,
Authoritative
everyone.
Dennings.
No. All right, everyone. Use the back door.
Yeah. It's okay. Use the back door. I'm like Jim Morrison.
Is that one of your songs?
Yeah.
Use the back door.
What I should one of these days I'll sing Backdoor Man by the Doors. It's just Jim Morrison screaming about how he's a backdoor man. Seems really easy.
Well, they are gods.
Yeah. So is
Donut Land.
That's what he's distracted by Donut Land. But it's cool because Lady Sif's there to save the day. Stick.
I always thought that what he's about to do was so cool. Where he just turns around, literally.
Turn around.
No.
Oh, you got the your shitty song reference earlier was the quota.
Yeah. No more shitty songs.
I already mentioned Backdoor Man. Actually, I like Backdoor Man.
Shitty songs.
Backdoor Man.
But
There's a deleted scene where Eric Selvig gets like a glass shard in his like stomach. In fact, I think you can still, in some of the backgrounds coming up, you can still see them like picking him up off the ground. And they heal him with Asgardian like herbs. Yeah, like right here, he's supposed to get like shrapnel up the wazoo.
yeah, there he falls.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, fuck. And then they just give him Asgardian healing poultices. And he's just like, okay, cool. This was a pointless scene, which is why it's cut.
Did his eyebrows get blown off in the blast? No, they're still there. Okay.
He just wiped the egg off.
Yeah, okay. I would miss this egg.
Back to the egg.
Yeah, back to the egg. The Destroyer's favorite album is Destroyer.
Yeah, so I see he looked like he was like,
Oh, God, my stomach. Oh, my God, my liver.
from all that drinking.
Yeah. Yeah, they could be hungover during this entire sequence. Yeah, so he's still in recovery mode.
Yeah, I guess they would be, because they were just having hangover breakfast.
Yeah.
And Salva was dropping Alka-Seltzer.
This little Western moment coming
Wow,
up.
wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm trying to think what movie just had that. That was... it was Expendables 3.
They had a reference to that?
I feel like they did.
It also had...
Stallone always uses the revolver in that
It
movie.
also had single-handedly the worst music cue I've seen in...
Congos.
Yeah.
You know, that movie's been on Netflix since the end of November.
Has it?
The end of October.
November.
No, end of November.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
For those of you curious, that "Oh Jesus Christ" was in reference to my blatantly winking at Jake for him to accept the end of November.
Remember the end of November.
Ugh.
How many Facebook posts? I hate those Facebook
Oh God
posts.
damn it! That's
yeah. I will watch V for Vendetta any other day of the year except for November 5th.
yeah. I won't be, but that's because I don't really like that movie, and I hate the comic book.
Really?
Oh, it's a shame.
That is a shame.
It's a shame.
Now, well, I really liked the movie when it first came out, and I think I own it on DVD, but like with the just the ubiquitousness, if that's the right word, of the V mask. I was just like, you know what? Never mind. I get it. I get what you're doing. You know, using the mask as representation of what's going on. But I'm done. And then I tried reading the comic book while I still liked the movie, and I was like,
I will say it's much different than the movie.
It's very different.
It's a very hard read for me.
More books can be kind of dense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and less books. Oh God, I bet he hates that because I hate myself for saying it.
Alan Moore hates everything.
He does.
My job is done. I will walk away like a pimp now.
Single tier Odin sleep.
And now it's getting more radiated.
Whoever gets bitch slapped by the destroyer shall possess the power of Thor.
I mean, that's how you get worthy. Get bitch slapped by the destroyer.
Yep.
That's why I allow myself to be bitch slapped by that Kiss album all the time.
Still waiting for the hammer.
The name of one of Sam's many autobiographies. Still waiting for the hammer.
Many solo pornographic films waiting for the hammer.
Like, diehard Thor fans must have been like 6 to midnight in this scene.
Yeah.
Because this is it.
I do love that, like seeing the plate mail.
Yeah. How do you feel about the sleeveless armor?
Yeah, it works. I think in Avengers it looks cool.
Yeah, I prefer the plate mail, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, he gets it in time for the final battle.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like that's when he's like in like Super Saiyan mode when he has the
Yeah.
plate mail versus the sleeveless.
And this is just Super Saiyan 1. He gets Super Saiyan 2 when he gets better beard and eyebrows.
Yeah.
You ever play the video game that came out based on this?
No, was it any good?
I didn't play it.
No. So to answer, no.
No.
I have not. I didn't play the Cap game either,
Cap game was fun. A little repetitive, but it was fun.
or either of the Iron Man games.
Iron Man games, the first one, they're very difficult. The second game, I never beat because the last boss is crazy, but they're fun.
I remember Garrett, my old roommate, had the first one. Seemed to enjoy it.
Yeah. I have 1 and 2, I believe.
Oh,
Face.
This is a badass shot right
There been-
here.
Yeah. Just gonna add in all that smoke and post. Yeah.
My cape is clean and pressed.
There have been times in the comics where Loki uses the Destroyer as literal armor.
Really?
Yeah, kind of like goes Super Saiyan himself in the.
It's my penis.
My penis.
Keanu would have been a great Thor.
Keanu is a great everything. Welcome to hell.
Welcome to the Asgard.
Are there no
bitch.
other guards?
In Asgard?
No.
No, there's just the one. Like, that's his job. He is god of guarding Asgard. In Norse mythology.
Heimdall, yeah.
Yeah.
The Watcher.
No, that's the Watcher. He is the Watcher.
Uatu.
Yeah, but he's dead.
Spoilers.
It happened last year.
Yeah. Replaced by Nick Fury.
I hear Thor!
He's just totally lopped off that dude's head.
Also, that chainmail sleeves were probably a pain in the ass to wear.
Would be if it were chainmail.
How long it would... I mean... I'm just
Chainmail, like...
Yeah.
So when Thor goes to a strip club, does he make it rain?
If he had that power, I mean, I'm sure now he can. He is the god of thunder.
Yeah.
Now that he has all his powers restored.
Completely.
Yeah.
I mean, you keep saying it, and I'm just like, I've already made my point. I mean, means no difference to me, bitch. This is the only action scene I get.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it to the fullest.
I'll kill one and then get... Oh, okay. Oh, that's all I get.
Where's Riggs?
Stags.
Zippity doo dah. Back in the Asgard groove.
Many years since he's been there.
Yeah.
Really just about, 2 days.
Yeah.
But that's many years in Asgardian.
Yeah. What he doesn't know is so much has changed. He's like, what the fuck? I don't remember these buildings.
I do love an Ultimate Alliance where, one of your headquarters is in Asgard.
Mm-hmm. I think the last chapter. Such a great...
Whoa, he's in the aura. The callback to...
Yeah, stay behind my aura.
Stay behind my aura.
Must destroy the tabernacle. That's another line. I don't have anything personally against tabernacles. I like how his bed looks like a boat. Shit.
They're all just saying their names.
Thor, Loki, Frigga, Odin.
Heimdall.
What? What is you doing here?
Jane Foster.
Coulson.
Yeah.
Son of Cole.
Straczynski.
Yeah.
Stan Lee.
Joe Straczynski's character. Joe Straczynski.
He's in there all of a sudden I was looking for the restroom, but all right, well, see you later.
I went to grab the hammer and ended up here. Don't know what it was.
My Ford pickup has taken me.
Yes. I ended up in the Bifrost. Don't ask me how.
Don't ask me why.
Yeah.
Don't stop me now.
He's having such a good time.
He's in a ball.
Don't stop him now.
If you want to have a good time.
Just give him a call. And then he'll blow it up with the fucking ice thing. I do like how you see, the world tree there, though. Ow, that's right. I probably should have hit you first. Oh,
Yeah.
God, that hurts. For all those innocent, frost giants, first, who knows how many like Loki. Well, we know how many, but like how many were in on Loki's plot. So as far as they know, oh, it's invading Asgardians. Fuck, and then they like fuck them all up. Oh, and then another day, like Loki almost destroys their realm with the Bifrost. Ouch.
Yes.
The answer we're looking for.
For a woman!
That's always the sticking point.
It's always the sticky point.
What was the other movie where... Oh, yeah, it was like fucking the first Spider-Man movie where like Green Goblin's all like beating the shit out of Peter Parker and he's like, I'm going to say hello to Mary Jane. He's like, fuck you, and then beats the shit out of him. It's always the point where they're like, okay, I wasn't going to fight you, but now you're going to get, you know, a fast pass to Ass Kickville, my favorite town. I'm going to walk slowly.
I feel like if you looked closely, you actually did see the actual Loki.
Oh, in the background?
Yeah. Flying down further down the frostbite.
I always did like that visual of like all the Lokis getting like all the mirror Lokis disappearing in the one true Loki. That like shockwave effect.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. And of course just the idea is like, by the way, don't go anywhere.
That's always silly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like I can't remember if it was actually like in a comic book or if it was just like someone like doing a silly photo, but like I saw like Loki trying to use the bathroom, but Mjolnir is sitting on the toilet, so he can't lift the lid to use it.
Ah, some poor bastard. I would feel like that would be super painful, right? It's like crushing on his torso.
Well, I feel like the weight of Mjolnir is like subjective.
Yeah, it's in
like
yeah.
Like it's not actually super heavy. It's just no one can pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean, now granted, I'm sure it has mass to it.
Some
so yeah,
heft, yeah.
I imagine it's probably no worse than just, you know, an average mallet being placed on you. Like maybe it's like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
10, 20 pounds, the equivalent.
That's the thing. People are like, how can Captain America lift it? And it's like, it's not about the weight. It's not about the power. It's about if you're worthy.
It's imprinted.
Yes.
I did like that was a very, you know, Tony Stark thing to say. It's like, oh, it's not, you know, it's he who has the fingerprint of Thor.
Yeah.
Just like Judge Dredd's
Lawgiver.
That's what they call it. I
Yeah.
was searching for that.
I will be honest. I haven't seen that Mjolnir lifting sequence, even though it's an official, you know, press, you know, released thing. I haven't seen it.
Do you want to see it?
We'll talk after.
Do you want a man?
I always want a man.
For you and you.
Yeah. Well, fuck you. The demise of pseudo demise of every major villain in films in the 80s and 90s. Fall into nothingness. Bad guy in Turtles 3. Gaston. Big Boy Caprice.
Die Hard.
Hans Gruber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman. That's
Yes.
I was trying to remember the
That's
actor's
the actor,
name.
yeah.
even though we were talking about characters, but whatever.
Yeah.
He transcends the character.
I mean, because of that, he's been a villain how many times?
Multiple times.
Lots. The answer is lots. Mainly because I don't want to take the time to count.
Big lots? He was also the good guy in Galaxy Quest. And probably other things. Arguably, ultimately in Harry Potter.
Yeah. He's a red herring bad guy for like 8 films. I always thought it was brilliant. Because in every film they're like, oh, it's Snape. And then it's like, never Snape.
Yeah, it was never actually Snape.
Yeah.
Except for whichever one it was where he killed Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Though working at his behest. Looks like a theme park. Not an actual...
It really does. It looks like a Magic Kingdom. Like a futuristic Magic Kingdom.
And... wait for it.
Ah, the shawarma's delicious.
Oh, Mara. There was this place called Burger King. It was...
And then these bastard kids jumped in front of line.
That's Walt Simonson. That was next to Jamie Alexander down there at the banquet table. Perennial Thor writer from the 80s. A guy that really is, responsible for a lot of major tropes, like Malekith, who shows up in the next film.
Did an awesome RoboCop comic with Frank Miller as well.
Co-created, I believe he co-created Apocalypse, the X-Men villain.
So he was the dawn of the age of Apocalypse?
Yes. I was trying to think of something clever. My brain failed me once again.
Haha, the stupidity of one of Chris's comments just infected your brain.
Just like, brain just shuts down.
It's like once again, I give up.
It's like that episode of Star Trek, I Mud, where they use illogic to cause the robots to just shut down. It's one of my favorite episodes of Star Trek. Watch it. It's on Netflix. Season 2.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I have seen that one.
Yeah.
Where they're like just being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even Spock gets into the game.
Yeah. And at the very end, they're like, hey, Spock, how is it to see that, good old logic loses out? And he's just like, fuck yourselves, and beams back to the ship and flies away.
Without them.
Yeah. Leaves them on the planet with Harry Mudd.
And then they form the band Primus and write the song My Name is Mud.
Yeah. It's never clearly stated here, but it's implied. But the Bifrost Bridge is repairing itself, and we see that in the sequel. Because the implication is, and it's an implication that carries over to the Avengers, that the Bifrost is broken for good. But then we see in the sequel, it's like, oh, it was rebuilding itself all along. It just took a shitload amount of time.
Probably because it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah. She looks right at the camera. Ah. That's Thor with its Hubble space scope and, inspired ending.
I don't remember that in the Hubble Space Telescope.
Wormholes.
Stan Lee?
Yeah, I always wondered how much he if it's just like a name credit thing or if he actually.
I'm sure it's just a name credit thing.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think of the film? Now that we're done with it.
It's I thought it was just just average okay when I saw it.
That kind of looks like the Tree of Life.
But I think it's better than Iron Man 2, and I actually enjoy it quite a bit these days.
Yeah.
Watched it a couple times since the theater.
Oh, Kat Dennings. Oh yeah, Clark Gregg.
That guy.
Everyone's got such a big heart on for him.
I always hear conflicting reports if he's in Age of Ultron. I feel like he is. And in a couple months you guys can tell us. Actually, we'll tell you. Fuck you. We'll watch it at midnight or something.
You know, it'd be great is if we didn't find out until we saw the movie. But any faithful listeners knows how I feel about spoilers and overactive news snippets coming out. Oh, hey, Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this song.
Smooth, easy listening. Originally written during that kind of break they had between Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace and Wasting Light. There was talk about it maybe being included with the Greatest Hits compilation, but instead they had Wheels and Word Forward. And I love Wheels. That's a great song.
It is. They also do a kick-ass cover of Band on the Run.
Yeah.
Did a pretty damn good cover of Darling Nikki, too.
I've actually never heard that.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
If I remember correctly, they snip out a whole verse, though.
Yeah.
It was really weird because Prince didn't want him to do that, and they did it, and then he covered Best of You at the Super Bowl halftime show, so it was weird. Yay, Prince.
I don't think I've heard that.
It was good.
It's good.
It was just a snippet. If
he hosted SNL, back a couple months ago, and it was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I remember he made a pretty record-setting thing or whatever.
Well, I mean, he did the 1 8-minute jam as opposed to 2 segments.
Right.
Basically reminding everyone why he was Prince.
Yeah. Like, I change shit because I'm Prince.
I can play ping pong because I'm Prince.
You should hear the Jimmy Fallon story of him playing ping pong with Prince. It's a pretty long story because I don't know if I tell it, but you should check it out on YouTube. It's really funny.
This really is probably the second best Foo Fighters album in my opinion. Second only to There's Nothing Left to Lose.
It's, for me, the only, and I don't mean this in like a
derogatory.
Yeah, but it's the only Foo Fighters album I can listen to straight through with having to change, switching, going through tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they just were firing on every cylinder.
Well, the idea was we're going to create an album that's maybe not our best work, but our most representative work. They're it's going to be our Back in Black.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's maybe not some of our best songs, period, but every song is going to be solid. This is what the Foo Fighters are.
I got the version where it has a piece of the
master tape.
Yeah.
Every first print CD release of this album had a piece of that master tape.
I didn't know that at first. I opened it up and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, it means you got 3 seconds of stuff. I got it. I pre-ordered it on iTunes, so I missed out on that jam.
I don't even know if I own this album.
It's phenomenal.
Definitely my favorite. My favorite before this, probably second favorite, is I can never fucking remember because I'm the worst Foo Fighters fan ever. The double album,
Best of You, or In Your Honor.
In Your Honor, thank you.
Which has Best of You. Which was an album when he was promoting it. He was like, this isn't one of our best, but if there's an album I want us to be remembered for, it's this one.
I think my favorite's One by One.
Yeah.
I love the opening track on that one.
Yeah.
For me,
it's got a strong close.
For me, isn't that your favorite song?
It is.
By the Foo Fighters, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, not of all time.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a favorite all-time song.
Yeah, I can't narrow it down to one, but
I would argue that is subjectively my favorite Foo Fighters song.
I would have to say that I think One by One starts strong and ends strong, but the middle is kind of chuffa.
Chuffa you.
Chuffa me. Fuck me. Fuck
Forget
me.
about it.
Fuck you. It's my nod to University Mall Theaters. The music done by Patrick Doyle, who's and this is the only to-date Marvel film that he's done the music for. He's a longtime collaborator with Ken Branagh. He did the music for like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and stuff.
He also did the Much Ado About Nothing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Which has
That
Keanu.
Kenneth Branagh directed?
Yes.
That's the one. Hey, is there a Lucy Liu? Not an that Lucy Liu, but a Lucy Liu.
Ah.
And Kenneth Branagh was initially completely against the film being converted into 3D in post-production. But he was impressed by the process, at least allegedly. Who knows how much of it was the producer just being like, fuck you, we're releasing this in 3D.
I remember seeing it in 3D and not being impressed.
I don't remember if I
but
saw
then
it in
again,
3D
I'm
a connoisseur,
well-documented connoisseur of 3D. And I think the only movie that I've seen that was like shot 2D and post-converted that I was actually like impressed with was Guardians of the Galaxy.
I heard that was really great 3D.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 did all right.
Yeah.
There were parts of it where I was like, mostly nitpicking.
I saw that
like
4 times in the theaters, and I saw it every time in 3D.
Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I like that movie.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hey, Thor will return in the Avengers.
That's good.
I like that. I think that's cute. I like that they started doing that.
This sequence was filmed. This is directed by Joss Whedon, and it was one of the first things he filmed for Marvel. And apparently, the shoot was a mess, and Stellan Skarsgård and Samuel L. Jackson threatened to quit. They're like it was not a pleasant filming this one sequence over the course of one day.
Really?
Was apparently a bit of a mess.
How could this be that difficult?
Yeah, you'd think it wouldn't be that hard, but somehow.
Although, then again, those kind of shoots are usually the ones that end up being the worst.
Yeah.
The ones that you underestimate.
Yeah. I think they originally thought it was just going to be a quick... I think that's what it was, right? They thought it was just going to be a quick drop in the pond shoot, and then it turned out to be a bit of a scheduling or staging nightmare. I'm Samuel L. Jackson. That's what I always imagine he says, because that's how I would always say my name.
It was funny. He's in Patriot Games.
I'm Sam Stone.
Yeah, I'm Sam Stone.
In the end of
I'm
Patriot
Keanu
Games,
Reeves.
he shows up with and he like kicks ass and takes out a bunch of bad dudes with like a silenced pistol.
I love this suitcase.
Sam the man, Sam the man.
The Tesseract, which in the comics is called the Cosmic Cube. Also, there's an effect to like Loki's appearance, like he's bruised and shit. He kind of has like a demented, dirty look to him, and I feel like they originally were going to be like, "Hey, let's have him look like that in the Avengers," and then they decided not to. They just decided to clean him up. Because you just
He's
saw
had
it.
time to heal.
Yeah, I guess. So yeah, that's Thor, guys. We only have one movie left in the standalone Phase 1 films before we get to the big Phase 1 topper.
Big kielbasa.
Yes, I love kielbasa.
I bet you do.
It's good.
It's good.
Would you say it's your favorite of the Phase 1 films? Captain America, First Avengers, Jake?
Yeah, probably.
And Chris, would you say next to Iron Man 2, it's one of your least favorite? Captain America, would you say next to Iron Man 2, it's your least favorite of the Phase 1s?
I don't know where you're getting that.
Who did I talk to that was like, fuck Captain America?
I don't think that was me. I mean, I recently and by recently I mean like within the last 6 months, saw the first Captain America again, and I was like, yeah. I don't remember ever like shit talking it per se. I mean, I definitely like Winter Soldier more.
Oh yeah,
but Phase
too.
One, I'd say it's a toss up between Thor and Cap, between which is my favorite.
Oh.
Although I really do like Iron Man 2, but like top shelf, I would say Thor or Cap.
Thor Cap over Iron Man 1?
I mean,
I don't count Iron Man 1 as part of Phase 1. Like
they have
that's like
no
phase,
idea.
Yeah, that's like Phase 0.
Yeah.
Kind of like Incredible Hulk technically is the first Phase 1 movie. Right?
It's hard to say because they both came out the same year, within a month of each other.
Yeah, but it actually has the post-credit scene.
Quote
Unquote.
It was
post-credit.
supposed to. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Well, yeah, but Iron Man has a post-credit scene. Fuck me.
It's hard to say. I could totally see where you're calling Iron Man.
Although I guess
though.
if I'm gonna call Iron Man Phase 0, Incredible Hulk would be too, because Incredible Hulk has less to do with the rest of the series than Iron Man.
And I feel like that wasn't so much a creative decision as a hey, this didn't do as well, nearly as well as any of the other films.
But they do reference it.
Yeah. Passing remarks.
I broke Harlem.
Yeah, that's all you get, to my knowledge.
Yeah. Well, now that we've seen it in more recent times, we can judge that. I mean, there is going to be references to it in Ant-Man.
Yeah, and of course there's references to it in Iron Man 2.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they have the news reels.
Yeah, at the very end.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So just one more film, guys, and then we're on to the Avengers.
That's right.
So see you next week with yet another Marvel Cinematic Universe film, Captain America, the first Avenger.
Yay.
Yeah. This has been another Geek Out commentary. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
Bye.
Bye.